Coming up, the tide appears to be turning in the Brexit-supporting press as Project Fear has become Brexit reality. Of course, most of the problems are being blamed on an anthropomorphised European Union, a bureaucratic organisation which nevertheless is apparently somehow capable of acting out of very human emotions like revenge, jealousy and pettiness. But hey, whoever they blame, there are a number of current stories that paint a less than rosy picture of Brexit from the very newspapers who were once its champions. Keep watching. Before we get into it, please hit the like button, subscribe and get notified of new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. I keep an eye on the tabloids and the Tory graph so that you don't have to. And it's really struck me recently just how much they are moaning about their Brexit. In this video, I'm going to be covering just a few of their current stories that may surprise those of you who generally avoid the right-wing press. The big story right now is the free trade deal with Australia that Liz cut-and-paste Truss is threatening to sign. Of course, the big story here should be about the impact on carbon emissions, hulking the growth hormone bloated corpses of Australian methane producing cattle from one side of the world to the other in fossil fuel powered cargo ships. But let's concentrate on the trade aspect. The Mail on Sunday this week carried an article by Minette Batters, president of the National Farmers Union, in which she spoke about the removal of tariffs on Australian exports of beef to the UK, claiming this would make it all but impossible for British family farms to compete with vast volumes of imports from the Southern Hemisphere, produced in a very different manner. Surely no one can want our land to become like the Australian outback or the American Dust Bowl. The Mail reports farmers' fears that Liz Truss's negotiators have agreed to tariff-free access to the UK market in their haste to secure a deal before the G7 summit in Cornwall. And the Mail adds its own comment that after a 5-year transition period, the current restrictions and tariffs on Australian goods would be lifted, potentially exposing British farmers to cheaper rival products. Interestingly, they don't claim that this is what Brexiteers voted for. On this very same topic, though it's being labelled as Boris's sheep deal rather than Liz Truss's beef deal, The Express is carrying the article Brexit Danger. Boris's Aussie sheep deal could tear apart the union, adding, if Brexit Britain cannot sign a deal with its Commonwealth sibling, there isn't much hope for deals elsewhere. Very honest of them to say so. They go on to say, such a deal would also weaken the union. The argument runs that Scottish and Welsh farmers would be at particular risk from Aussie beef and lamb. So what the Express are implying here is that breaking up the United Kingdom is the only way to achieve post-Brexit trade deals. They add, no one wants to throw UK farmers under the bus, but nor can the UK be disadvantaged as it goes for growth and the Canada-Australia-New Zealand-UK alliance in the years ahead. When they talk about throwing our farmers under the bus, I wonder if they're talking about this bus, and indeed whether there's any room there for UK farmers. It's already filled with fishermen, musicians, actors, Erasmus students, broadcasters and City of London types. Talking of which, The Express in the past week carried an article headed EU power grab begins as thousands flee city. Boris must secure finance deal. Yes, they're blaming it on an EU power grab, which in itself is hilarious, and at one point in the article they refer to the exodus as a post-COVID phenomenon. What? But the article several times does acknowledge the reality that the collapse of employment in the City of London is due squarely to the lack of financial service provisions in the Brexit deal. Again, I looked but couldn't find any assertion that this was the Brexit the Express had campaigned for, as they report that many thousands of city jobs are being relocated to Frankfurt, Paris and Milan. Okay, turning now to the Daily Tory graph. I love the story they ran this week about their readers' dreams of retirement to the EU being shattered. Listen to this. Why the expat retirement dream could be gone forever. Sun-seeking pensioners no longer have the same rights following Brexit. Oh really? 5 years later and only now you've noticed? Dreams of retiring to sunnier climes have been dashed for many following Britain's exit from the European Union. Bureaucratic complications, combined with the pandemic, they always have to get that one in, don't they? We knew what we were voting for, it's just that COVID, have forced retirees to reconsider their plans amid worries about losing state pension rights and access to healthcare. The article goes on to say, many British pensioners living abroad have returned in recent years, in part due to the pandemic. Official figures show there were more retired expatriates coming home than moving to the EU in 2020. Oh, listen up everyone, it's that damn pandemic again. Nothing to do with the Brexit that we campaigned for. But on a serious note, the article goes on to give some truly heartrending examples of how property investments and retirement plans have been shattered by Brexit. Some pensioners are having to sell up abroad at reduced prices and are trying to find suitable properties back in the UK. And on that subject, every time I release a Brexit-related video like this one, I get comments from Brexiteers saying, if you love the EU so much, why don't you off and live there? I'm a carer for an elderly relative here in the UK. He's been the only thing stopping me from doing exactly that for the past 5 years. Once he's gone, the only thing stopping me then will be their vote for Brexit. But despite everything that's now happening, they still insist that they know what they voted for.